Today, I'm showing you the 5 best tips and tricks to make money with meme coins as a small account. Now, I did not start in crypto with a lot of money. Basically, everything I was making from YouTube on past channels, I was putting into crypto, and this was a few years ago. So buying big market cap coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then working my way into NFTs, where we were able to make some money until here we are with meme coins, where that is the newest trend. But this is really crucial. I started in meme coins with nothing and I am still learning, but I want to be as transparent as possible on this channel and show you guys what it's actually like to trade as a small channel with no one tracking my wallets. I make sure to change my wallets almost every single week so that if anyone is tracking me, they probably can only track me for about a week or so because I want to try and keep it as authentic as possible. I don't want to make sure that I'm winning just because people are following me. And I want to win because I feel like I actually know what I'm doing with trading. I do also have some experience with perps trading and leverage trading and stuff like that, but we can cover that in a different video. So you guys might have seen that I have been posting on Twitter or X, and I will eventually start posting on Instagram as well. We are doing a challenge for the rest of the year. We started with 1 Solana, and we're going to see how far we can grow this portfolio. We are not really trying to add anything to it unless we feel like we can size into some other positions. Then I might pull some money from other wallets across. But for the most part, this is really just about being as consistent as possible, trading, I guess, meme coin trading a lot more seriously and not trying to treat it like gambling where you can make crazy money just buying into random things because everyone else is, but actually buying into coins because you feel like there is a reason why they will do well. So today I'm showing you the 5 best tips and tricks that are going to help me turn 1 Sol into hopefully $10,000 by the end of the year. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is going to be one of the most important ones, and this is find your trading style. Now, there are so many different ways to trade meme coins. You have the people that buy straight off the new pairs. You have people that are trying to do the migration plays, so buying a coin before they migrate, hoping that they get more volume, and then sizing in before they actually migrate and then increase their, I guess, their portfolio because they do migrate and then gain more traction then. And then you have the people that are scalp trading, which is basically where you buy a coin that is dipped down, hoping that it does return. Even a 10 or 20% gain is going to be good enough for the scalp traders. And then, of course, you do have the migrated buyers. These are the people that play with only big market cap meme coins. And I guess this is pretty traditional for a lot of other trading styles. You are buying into a coin that might be worth $500,000, $800,000, or $1 million, and hoping it'll just keep gaining momentum from there. But obviously volume and size does matter here. It is really just about risk management and how you want to actually treat trading. So if you are not sure how you actually want to trade and what sort of trading style you have, I will cover these quickly, but we can always go more in depth in another video. But for the people that are buying new pairs, this is high risk, high reward. You cannot ape in your entire portfolio into these because you probably have a 5% chance of this coin actually making good money. This is really, really small. Some coins just feel like they should get traction and then don't. Some coins get vamped instantly and KOLs go into a different coin than you were in, and then you instantly get dumped on and lose your portfolio. And then there are just some coins that you buy into late, or maybe they're just not as good as you first thought. So there is a really low percentage of new pairs coins that actually make money. But again, this is what all the big KOLs and all the tracked wallets usually buy into. You will see people like Khye and DV buying a lot of these early transactions, trying to buy up as much supply as they can with multi-wallets, and then hopefully riding that to a 3x or a 4x, where they can turn 2 or 3 Sol into 15 Sol even before migration. Now, while that might sound really good and the potential to make insane money probably lies within this strategy, now what is really worth noting here is that this is so easy to blow up your small portfolio trading like this, because if you buy into a coin at 10k, actually, you know what, will change this. If you buy into a coin when it spawns at maybe 8k, and then for whatever reason the dev sells on you, there might be a small bundle that also sells on you, and this drops to 6k market cap, you instantly lose like 25% of your portfolio. So if you're going in with 1 Sol, you've lost 0.25 instantly. To put that in perspective, that is the same as buying a migrated coin at 100k market cap and then holding that down to 75k. So there is a lot more room to move with those 100k coins, and you do have a lot more time to figure out if you want to exit the position, add more dollar cost average in, whatever you might want to do, because it does have more room to run. There is more liquidity and it isn't as volatile. Whereas if you are buying a coin at 10k or even 8k, there is so much risk to that. So this is probably not something I would recommend. This is definitely something that you want to do if you have a big portfolio, and I guess can take that 5% chance. The next strategy, though, is something that a lot of people do actually, I think, make a lot more money with consistently, and this is sort of buying into those almost bonded coins. They might range from the 30 to 50k range, and go in here with a little bit more size. So if you are trading with a portfolio of only 1 Sol, you could probably afford to go in with 0.3 or 0.5 into these coins that you feel like might go from that 30k up to 100k, which will still be a 3x return. It might not be crazy like some of the other coins where you see people buying in from 8k and then riding it up to 500k, but you can still make really good money with this. And if you are a small portfolio, this is still really risky. It isn't as risky as buying into those really small market cap coins, but again, I feel like you can make some good money here. We do see people like Jack Duval actually buying into coins around here. You probably see Orangey also buying into coins at this range. So I feel like there are some really good traders doing this. You can also make a lot of money by buying the already bonded or the already migrated coins. This is where you buy into a coin on the right side of whatever exchange you are using. They are usually around that 100k market cap. And the problem with this is that sometimes a lot of coins will migrate and then insta dump because everyone takes out their profits or their initials or just fully exits their position. So sometimes a coin will migrate and then it insta dumps from that 70 to 80k range all the way down to 20 or 30. So unless you want to bank on it retracing all the way back up, you can do that, but again, that is quite risky. Or you just try and find the coins that have really strong narratives that once they get to migration, they just keep going up. That again is another good way, but sometimes can be a little bit daunting for traders to get into, because to double your money, if you're buying a small market cap, you need it to go from 8 to 16k. If you're buying the nearly migrated, you need it to go from 30k to 60k. But if you're buying a migrated coin, let's say at 120k, to double your money, you need to watch that go all the way up to 240k, which is a lot trickier to do. So I feel like tip 1 is really just focus on the trading style that you want to trade with. Pick which one you feel like suits your mentality the best, and then practice those skills as much as you can. Tip number 2 is going to be riding the momentum. You don't necessarily want to try and figure out what momentum is going to be next. And it seems like every single day there is a different coin or a narrative that is always running on the chain. So if you guys have been watching the charts over the last few days, you probably know that animal runners have been doing well. We had a lot of 4chan memes doing well. I feel like they were really the meta for a few days there, but it does seem like it is slowly shifting to something else. So instead of trying to predict what the next meta is going to be, find out what has already run. So usually what I do before I start trading is I go on and check the coins that have bonded while I was away, whether I was asleep or just doing something else. I always make sure to go through and check, try and figure out what the narrative is from that. If there are coins that have migrated, look at the communities, look how active they are, see how many people are actually actively talking in them, or whether they are just LARP and not real. And then from that, see if there are other coins since then that have either been in the nearly migrated area or new pairs getting a lot of traction. That is usually what I look for. That way I can figure out what the narrative of the day is going to be. And then that helps me identify new pairs as soon as they spawn that actually might gain some traction. Tip number 3 is going to be managing your risk. I always feel like it is important to have some sort of risk measurement when you are trading, especially with a small portfolio. To put this in perspective, people like Khye and DV that have over 1,000 Solana in their wallets don't actively trade with 100 Solana when they buy into something, because that would be crazy. They would buy up the entire supply. But outside of that, it is too much risk, even though they have hundreds of thousands of dollars to their name, if not millions of dollars. So the whole point of this is to figure out a risk management system that you are happy with. So if you have a portfolio of 1 Solana, then probably the most you want to be entering into new trades with is going to be 0.1. This is still a lot. This is 10% of your portfolio, which means your margin for error is 10 trades in a row, basically losing all of them. So although that doesn't seem like a lot, and it might be disheartening because you are only trading with a small amount, so making 200% might only gain you $16 to $20 as opposed to the thousands that you see other big streamers making, that is still important to focus on the percentage gains as opposed to the actual dollar amount. I feel like if you have a huge portfolio and are actively trading with like 10 sol per trade, a 5% gain is going to be huge. You'll make really good money with that, compared to someone that's trading with a tiny account, and a 5% gain doesn't really change that much. But it's all about perspective. So I feel like if you are a small trader, you only are trading with 0.1 each time, you could aim for a 30 or 40% gain each time you trade, and then not worry about trying to go for the 50x returns or something crazy. So just figure out a risk management system that you are happy with, whether that is 5% of your portfolio per trade, 10%, whatever it is. And then as soon as you feel like a coin is gaining momentum, take your initials out. So then all you are trading with is profit. That way, you literally cannot lose. I feel like the next tip is going to be pretty straightforward, and this is research. This is so crucial, and I feel like it is only becoming more and more crucial as well. We've seen a lot of coins being PvP'd. We saw one the other day with KitKat. I feel like this was about a week ago or 2 weeks ago now, where we had 2 KitKat coins sitting at like $4 million in market cap each. This is really bad for the trenches. It just means that PvP is getting crazy now. There isn't going to be another coin that just runs to 100 million as long as there is PvP, because people get split, it splits the community, and then you get people basically fighting against each other to see their coin win, as opposed to everyone coming together to launch one coin. So what I really want you guys to do is focus on research. So if you see someone posting a Twitter handle, make sure to check that the Twitter is legit. If they're posting about a community, see how active it is. If they are posting about a news story, usually don't click on links, because sometimes it could just be a drainer. That is actually how I've lost money in the past. And instead, figure out a way to just Google the story. I mean, when there's animal runners about rare animals being spotted in the wild, usually you can just copy the name of the coin into Google and see if anything shows up. If they are quoting a New York Times piece or a Wall Street Journal article, you can just search on those websites to see if what they are posting is actually legit or not. And that way you are sort of being safe and secure. You're not risking being drained, but you are also double checking that what you're buying into actually has some merit to it. So that is one of the most important ways to do it. And of course, research is just going to be important whether you're doing meme coin trading, perps trading, or just stock trading. Whatever it is, research is going to be at the core of it. And then the final tip I have for you is to come up with a system to review each trade. This is really important, and you can actually do this before you enter into a trade. What I like to do is look at the coins that I'm buying and figure out what I feel like the top of that coin is going to be. So if you're buying a coin and it's at 100K, you feel like the top that it's going to go to is 130K, really weigh up whether you think that risk is worth it. Is the risk to reward really there for a smaller gain? Might be 30%, but if you're going in with 3 sol, you are risking a lot just for that small gain, as opposed to buying into a coin that's sitting around 100K that you feel like could go to 500K that is going to be a much better risk to reward play. So I feel like always have that goal in mind, figure out what you feel like the coin could go to before buying into it. And then after the trade, if you feel like you lost, if you sold too early, if you got fudded out, if you didn't do enough research, write all of these things down so that you have a pattern in your mind of maybe why you failed that trade. So that way you can make sure you don't make those same mistakes again, or at least you can identify a pattern that is occurring. So if you're always buying coins after everyone else, if you are sending a top signal on the charts, then that is your lesson to do more research and wait for a drawback before buying in. You don't want to be blasting on top of other traders. You want to make sure that you get an entry that you are happy with, because I feel like a lot of the time that is what a lot of KOLs wait for. They might wait for a retracement, or they usually will just never buy at the top because it does make it tricky to make really good gains that way. So that is my 5 tips to getting started meme coin trading with a small portfolio. If you want to see more tips and tricks videos, then make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button down below. I will be posting a lot more on my other socials as well. And of course, make sure to check out the links down below for cheaper trading fees. Every single one of those platforms is amazing. So make sure to go and check all of them out. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.